Hi, friends. This is Lisa Don Lajoie, and this week's vlog coming to you right here, right now. And I took some time to think about did I want to do, because I choose between vlogs and blogs, whatever I feel called to do. And I was thinking deeply about what I wanted to talk about and what was important to me. And I wanted to share some stuff that I'm going through because I think a lot of us share in the same issues and problems. A lot of us are manifesting conflicts and challenges that are very parallel. And I notice that when I am going through something, oftentimes a lot of you are going through it and you end up giving me some really nice feedback about being in the same place at the same time. And I love it. I think it's so wonderful that we can share the journey together and that a lot of us are in alignment with our growth and we support each other and help each other. So when I get ideas and inspirations like this and share what I've been going through myself, and like especially right now, this is really lessons learned. What I've learned about what to do and not to do in my own work. Because I spent a lot of time recently deciding what I'm going to launch, deciding where I want my business to go. And I spent the last 2-3 years transforming it from, an office lifestyle to a worldwide traveling and I can work from anywhere in the world lifestyle. And, who am I? Where am I now? Who am I? I did, intuitive consultations, doing readings and helping people with loved ones and, helping people in their life and their business, doing forecast predictions and all these types of really amazing things, doing healing work, transformation work. And, when I started to recognize I didn't want to be in my office, I mean, I was working like sometimes 50, 60-hour weeks. I had a lot of clients and, there was just so like too much. It was too much, too many. And, I had to reassess how I was living my life because I love serving people and I had to figure out how to make my serving the people that I love to serve, who were attracted to my work, how I can serve them in an easier way without burning myself out and basically like breaking down. My body started to break down. I went through really like wake up call after wake up call and message from the universe saying, hey, what are you doing? Like, you can't keep doing that. You're doing amazing work. Thank you for contributing my work into the world, and really feeling that deep sense of guidance. Because for me, everything I do has to do with the universe and has to do with people's souls. It has more to do with that and than anything else in the world. My love and my passion for the universal consciousness, for spiritual living, for your soul, is way beyond how I feel as a human being about people. I really have a deep service and a sense of service from this spiritual position and this spiritual place. And so my work, often I'll find it challenging, and because you have to do real human things and we have to figure out how to change when it's time to change. So I spent time learning about what I needed to do, figuring out how I was going to make things happen. And I spent time in contemplation, in meditation, in being sure of what I was going to do, deciding how I was going to shift, change, and grow, and how I was going to bring something different into my world through my own creation and attraction and just changing things up to create a better lifestyle. And I had a desire for that lifestyle, this lifestyle that I live today that I'm really, really proud of. But the truth is, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of challenge. It takes, one of my friends said to me not that long ago, she just said, if you want to change everything, you have to risk losing everything to attain everything. And that's it. Like, that is really the truth. When we're taking a step forward, it's a very scary step, to be unsure of what's going to happen because nothing's predictable. And in that unpredictable moment of vulnerability where you're just jumping into the change and jumping into the unknown. And I knew, like, I have this business established. I can't just walk away, and I knew what to do. And I actually got some really good feedback from some friends of mine who are entrepreneurs and who have done that they're trailblazing before me and gave me some feedback. And I hired myself a coach. And this is some of the parts that are really important, apart from sharing, the ins and outs of making big changes in your business, and that it isn't easy to do. And lots of people are listening to the new age world that's saying hustle, bustle, fast, 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 go, go, go. And most people who ended up in a really successful position didn't go, 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 and it didn't take them 5 minutes to build the business that they have. They invested, they took their time, they built it, they fertilized the soil, they made the relationships. They've done a lot to invest in themselves, and they've taken a lot of risk, and they've had a lot of badass courage to be able to get them to be at the place where they are successful. And, that's a reality. That's real. And so I looked around and I found somebody that I thought could help me, because I really believed I needed an online business and I needed to learn about social media and I needed to figure this out. And I had some old friends who were in my life at that time. One of them was a social media expert, and she basically confused me to the point that I needed to go hire another coach, because I was so confused. And so I had so much feedback. And not only that, like I had different insights and information about people. You're looking online, there's all these people screaming in your face, do this, do that. You got to market, you got to do this. And every 6 months it changes on what we should be doing from a social marketing perspective. So, marketing media is insane right now. And I'm sure a lot of people that are thriving in that business are having a blast, because most of us don't know what the fuck's going on. We have no idea what we're doing, and we just are believing in stuff that's absolutely nonsensical. And, we think that what people are going to tell us because they're in the industry is better than what we feel is right for ourselves. And I was one of those people. I figured I needed to learn, and I was very confused by the information that person was giving me, this old friend was giving me. I was reading it online. I was looking at different people's marketing. I was looking at some top people in the world. I was going crazy, trying to establish a place where I could just figure out what's next, really. And so I knew what was next. I knew what I wanted to do, but now I needed to figure out how I was going to build things up. So I started with my systems. I started to change the systems that I had. What did I need? I started to research. I started to look, and I found some really good merchant systems like Infusionsoft and e-commerce things like Infusionsoft. And I found I figured out how to use it, and I hired people to help me. And I just said, that's a good investment. I found a couple of other platforms. I built a website. I built my social profile. But all the while, I was still really concerned and confused about what was really the best thing for me to do. How do I expose my brand? How do I share myself? And I had lots of bad branding advice, and I've had some really good branding advice. I did hire a couple of people, one before this point who was amazing. And then at the same time, I hired other people to do my branding who absolutely didn't get me at all. And were just, they just wanted to, rush through the process and get it done. And you know what I mean? And hurry, hurry, hurry. And it's they didn't, not caring people who wanted to really help me with sharing myself out in the world. And then I hired a coach who also was talking to me about my marketing, and now she helped me with a ton of stuff. This is she's a pretty good business coach. She has a lot of amazing skills. But there's there's two things that definitely where I felt lost that I wanted to share about, which I think is important for you guys who are looking to transform your lives and your businesses and change your lifestyle. She didn't really get my work. She didn't really research who I was, how successful I was or not. She was in comparison. She compared me to another psychic who was booked full time, and she didn't even know that I was trying to get away from being that person who was maxed out and working way too hard and booked 17 years in advance. I was trying to get away from that. And it's and then she said to me, and it's somebody I trusted, we talked a lot, she knew a lot. Then she told me things like that I shouldn't have certain pictures and I shouldn't be safe for profanity, and that she saw me in this certain light like this, because she knows I'm a healer, and I did some healing work with her, and she was like, you're this beautiful, magnificent being. But I'm like, this is the thing, I'm not that all the time. And when you represent your brand and you represent changing yourself and exposing yourself, you have to be you, because that's what people really want. There's marketing strategies that are all the same, but then there's the you have to be you that shouldn't ever fucking change for anybody, ever, anywhere. There's you being you. And every time we grow and change and enlighten and grow wider and spread wider, or, grow within and get more expanded, we should be sharing that too, and be very comfortable in expressing who we are at all times, because we're going to be attracting exactly what is right for us. And so this thing she did, because I trusted her and I believed in her, I didn't feel it was the right thing to do. But for 6 months or so, it confused the hell out of me. And I tried to rechange my brand, and I did all this stuff in an alliance with somebody who really didn't understand who I was and what I really wanted and how to expose the kind of work that I do in a way that would attract the right people to me without me having to hide my true authentic self. And so it lasted around 6 months. And then I'm like, no, this is absolutely incorrect. She's great, and she gave me a ton of advice, and she really helped me a lot. But she also threw me off and confused me about sharing the parts of me that are badass, that are unapologetic, that are loving, that are kind, that are supportive and expanded, that all go together, that make me me. When she isolated the one thing she thought I should be, and she discouraged me from showcasing the other aspects of who I am, she threw me off completely from being in the right vibe with the right people. And I'm telling you, that took away a lot of time from me, and it made a lot of questions and unnecessary questions. So if you're moving towards listening to people who are trying to tell you who to be apart from being yourself, and I'm not saying good advice about marketing strategy, okay? Or, building products, or, whatever it is that you're trying to experience or express about your work in the world. The true attraction comes from your vibration being exposed in that work. The true attraction is you expressing yourself in your way so people can relate to you. And if that's kind and soft one day, and the next day it's raw and badass, and the next day it's lionessish and fierce, and the next day it's peaceful and compassionate, then that's okay. I watch a lot of people in the world today just putting on a face, and then you talk to them and they don't have to show the face anymore, and they are not that person that they exposed to the crowd that I watched them communicate to on a stage or on a video. They're not the same people. And I like real. I like raw. That's who I am. So she, in her own way, tried to dumb down my energy because she couldn't relate to it. And I want you to understand, if people don't relate to you, they're not right for you. You know what I mean? If they don't connect with you and understand you and embrace you and are proud of you, then they don't connect to you. The other thing I learned was, listening to somebody, this is very important, listening to somebody tell me who I am when they don't understand the work that I do was also not a good idea, because they had no idea how to serve the emotional turmoil and energetic turmoil that a person like me would go through and goes through as an empath and a psychic medium and a clairvoyant and a coach and a transform agent and helping people and pushing myself. She couldn't understand the energy issues I was having being on social media. She couldn't understand my vibrational energy and frequency unless it was in a certain container. And it's funny because every time I work with her, it was the same. I was always gentle and loving, except for I think once, and that was pretty intense. It was pretty intense. Amazing human being, and gave me a ton of help. But that one thing confused me for a long time. Even though I stopped working on it with her because I totally didn't agree and didn't want to have a conflict, and the program that I was in was only 6 months anyways, it really turned me off when I realized, not to the coaching or to the coach, it turned me off from listening to people in social media and listening to all this new marketing mentality that, and all of us trying to contain and put ourselves in these little compartments to look a certain way and be a certain way because that's what's going to attract a certain thing because somebody said so. I got sick of it, and I realized that is not me. And I need to find who I am and come back to who I am actually and find who I am in the social media world and in the marketing world, and then express that person. Find out what I'm comfortable with, not what somebody is telling me to do by copying and pasting them onto my platform, but by being really me. And so this whole conversation that I'm having with you is about being authentic and being real. And if you're trying to change something in your life that's really important to you about yourself, or how you're exposing yourself, or your lifestyle, or whatever it is, your relationships, and you're noticing what I noticed, that somebody's trying to get you to conform in a little container, whether it's a coach in business or whether it's a relationship, and you're with somebody who's trying to make you somebody you're not, who's trying to dress you, who's trying to do your hair, who's trying to tell you how to act. Because I had one of those 2 years back. I had a relationship where he was trying to turn me into some kind of like, I don't even know what, that made him comfortable, versus me just being me when I was in a crowd of his people. And I remember thinking that, and this didn't last long too, because I remember feeling and thinking, that is so awful, that you don't think I'm worth it just the way I am to be in the crowd that you're in, and you want me to change for you. How about no? How about a big fat no on that? A lot of you are going through this. A lot of you are trying to figure it out. You're trying to put the right parts of you out there. You're trying to expose your vulnerability in your relationships, and you're being bullied around and you're being pushed around, and you feel like, and it might not be happening really, it may just be a feeling you're getting, like I was getting from the internet, bombarded with things that I should be and should do from everywhere, and not feeling comfortable. Because for me, it's hard to do the change that I was in. It was very, very difficult. I had to do it in stages. First stage, build the system. Second stage, observe what I want to do and what I want to change. I had to increase prices to really isolate and target my audience and stop working that hard, because people who really want to be invested. The other thing too is I did a good assessment on my clientele, and I realized like I had a lot of clients because my price point, back then was much lower than it is today. You know what I mean? And part of that was because I didn't own my value, and I had to learn about that 4 or 5 years ago. And like all these things stacked up one on top of the other in a positive way for me to be in different places where I could go to the next place and the next place and the next place. But it's very important that you do it in a speed that matches where you are, and in a voice that is you, and in authenticity that shares with other people your true vulnerability, so that we can really experience you from this grounded and authentic, genuine place. And if we dig you, great. And if we don't dig you, then we just move on. But we don't find out, we don't want to attract people that sooner or later will see who we really are and then go, ew, like I thought you were this, but now I see the real you, and ew. I would rather attract people who love me exactly the way I am and stop trying to box me into these little containers that don't really match all of who I am, but only match moving parts of who I am. It's like you don't hand select in a person what you like about them and we dump the rest. It doesn't work like that. And it's the same in you. If you're moving into a business and you have a coach who's trying to tell you that you should not be this or that, you know what? Make sure you really agree with what they're saying before you listen to them. If you're in a relationship and somebody's telling you don't be this or that, you have to, when we go out, you have to wear this outfit and you have to look like this and your hair has to be like this and you have to talk like this and you can never be irritated, or you can never be like assertive, and you can never have a voice, and you might embarrass me if you actually show up and be yourself. You really need to think about what you're doing. And if that's what you really want to do in your life, is make somebody comfortable by changing yourself, because that's not any way to live. We're transformers. We're born to transform. We come to this planet to transform. We come to this planet to kick some ass, and spiritual ass, personal ass, manifestational ass. We're here to rise, to be more, to share who we are genuinely with our brilliance and I want to be I want to be the shiny object that people are distracted by. I want to be people's squirrel. I want to be so interesting and engaging for you by being myself that I'm your shiny object, that when you see me, you go, blip, oh, let me stop and check out what's happening. That's what we should feel about each other. We see each other's energy, and then we just are blown away by the magnificence that we're experiencing in that vibe. And because it matches who we are, we want to talk to it, feel it, experience it, and taste it, and have its flavor in our hearts, in our lives, in our moment, in that moment. Be yourself. Be yourself. And as you change, be yourself again. And as you change, be yourself again. And as you transform, be that too. And be the change once you're complete. And don't let anybody tell you who you need to be. If you're comfortable doing certain types of marketing, then do that marketing, as long as it's you. If you're not comfortable with it, then don't. I drive myself crazy on social still, trying to just figure out what's what. And I just, the last bunch of months said, I dropped everything anybody's ever told me, and I'm just making decisions on my heart now. You want to share that? It's who you are. You want to swear. You want to be kind. You want to be loving. You want to share your love voice of compassion. Do it. You want to tell people they're fucking crazy because they shouldn't listen to anybody who's telling them that they're not okay the way they are? Then do it. And I'm way more comfortable right now than I was when I was getting helped and spending a lot of money on that coach who wasn't helping me, who was trying to tell me not to be who I was. Way happier than when I was with that guy who told me I shouldn't be who I am today. You know what I mean? You got to be right with yourself. Vulnerability is the new victory. And it is the victory. That's how we become victorious. That's how we rise. Thank you so much for listening. You know, I'm always happy to share and hear how you are. And please go ahead and let me know. Let me know how it's going. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's happening, what you got out of this, you know. And remember, being you is the most important thing. And letting yourself change and reserving the right to change your mind as you change and moving through life in an open-hearted way. And if you find out that you're a fierce warrior and you want to share that with the world, even though you've been this loving, beautiful, deer type person who's quiet and not even squeaks in the corner, and you find you're fierce, share it, be it, live it. Find your comfort zone with all the moving parts of you. Don't let anyone shame you into not being who you are. And don't let anybody who's offering shame to you, hiding it behind a relationship or love or business coaching, don't let anybody shame who you are. Ever. You don't deserve it. You really don't deserve it. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to talk to you on the flip side. Don't forget my radio show, From Misfit to Mystic, my podcast radio show. It happens Thursday, 6 p.m. California time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every second week. And next one is happening February 14th, so stay tuned. And I look forward to having more conversations with you. I'm sending you tons of love. Bye for now.